a crate containing a puppy falls to the ground due to a staff member's negligence. The puppy escapes the crate and stops at the feet of a man. The man is Professor Parker, just returned from a trip. Finding the adorable puppy, and seeing no owner around, Parker guesses it's lost. He picks it up and takes it to the station conductor, hoping to find a temporary shelter and locate its owner. The station conductor agrees to keep the puppy for one night, warning that it will be sent to an animal shelter, if unclaimed, by the next day. Overwhelmed by its pitiful look and against his wife's wishes, Parker sneakily brings the dog home and hides it in his study. But he soon realizes, the trouble has just begun. The puppy, restless, opens the study door, climbs the stairs, sneaks into their bedroom, and playfully bites Parker's wife Cate's toe. Startled, Cate screams and angrily demands Parker get rid of the dog. Rushing to explain, Parker promises to find the dog's owner the next day. That night, he sets up a temporary bed for the dog in the storage room, complete with blankets and toys, and leaves a light on for it, fearing it might be afraid of the dark. The next morning, Parker takes the dog to the animal shelter, only to be told by the staff that the place was full of dogs. The dog would be euthanized if unclaimed in 2 weeks. He then seeks help from his friend Lisa, at the bookstore. Though Lisa adores the puppy, her pet cat is hostile towards it. With no other options, Parker returns to the station conductor, who informs him, no one has come looking for the dog. Running late for work, Parker breaks the rules and takes the dog with him on the train. At the school, Parker grows even fonder of the dog as he watches it happily dancing to music with the students. After school, using the only clue on the crate, Parker consults his friend Ken, who reveals that the puppy is an Akita from Japan. The symbol on its collar represents the number 8, a sign of luck in Japanese culture. Thus, the dog is named Hachi. But when Parker asks Ken to adopt Hachi, Ken responds,
Me? No, I think he's made his choice.
Ken suggests that whether Parker found Hachi, or Hachi chose him, it's a destiny written in the stars. Returning home, Parker tries to convince Cate of Hachi's worthiness, claiming that in ancient times, only royalty could own such noble dogs. However, Cate is skeptical, believing Parker simply wants to keep the dog for himself. During an argument, Hachi enters Cate's studio and accidentally destroys a building model she had spent 4 months working on. In a rage, Cate expels both of them from the house. That cold night, Hachi uneasily stays in the shed, peering out as Parker tries to console and upset Cate, unsure of his fate. It's late when an exhausted Parker finally comes and takes Hachi back inside. They spend the night watching a game, with Hachi munching on popcorn, until Cate, woken up in the middle of the night, finds her husband asleep on the couch. As Hachi tries to appease her by licking her hand, she ignores him. Awakened by Cate, Parker hastily apologizes, carrying Hachi, and promising it won't happen again. Seeing her husband's cautious demeanor softens Cate. She feels perhaps she was too harsh. The next morning, Cate receives a call from someone interested in adopting Hachi after seeing the adoption notice. She's about to take down the number when she sees Parker and their daughter happily playing with Hachi, trying to teach him to fetch a ball. Touched by this sight, Cate decides against giving Hachi away, telling the caller,
"The dog's already been taken. I'm really sorry."
Her love and tolerance for her husband make her relinquish her long-held stance, perhaps revealing the charm of love. Time flies, and Hachi grows into a handsome, yet still mischievous dog. He always wants to accompany Parker to work. One day, before Parker leaves for work, he locks Hachi in the yard. But Hachi digs a hole under the fence and follows Parker's scent to the train station. Surprised and helpless, Parker tries to coax Hachi to leave, but Hachi stubbornly stays by his side. Parker has no choice but to return Hachi to his wife, before hurriedly heading to work. Finally, evening arrives. As the train whistle blows, Hachi realizes Parker is coming back, and leaps over the fence, rushing to the train station. He chooses a spot in the flowerbed directly facing the entrance, the perfect place to first see Parker. Parker, delighted and amazed, pets Hachi, and they happily walk home together. Over time, Hachi's bond with the family deepens. One day, their daughter Andy brings her boyfriend Mike to a family gathering. Mike tries to play fetch with Hachi, but Hachi remains still. Ken, upon hearing about this, tells Parker that Hachi is no ordinary dog, and won't just please people, like other pets. If Hachi ever does fetch, it means something significant is about to happen. Parker, however, doesn't take Ken's warning seriously, not believing in such superstitions. Every morning, Hachi accompanies Parker to the station, then returns home alone. As evening approaches and Parker's workday ends, Hachi punctually arrives at the station, quietly waiting in the flowerbed for his owner. Through extreme weather, Hachi never fails to show up, their silent agreement astonishing to those around the station. It seemed as if Hachi would always be there, walking this path with Parker. But one morning, Hachi behaves unusually, circling anxiously and whining as if pleading Parker not to leave. Parker, puzzled but rushed for time, suppresses his concerns. After Parker leaves, Hachi follows, stopping him at the station with a game of fetch. A first for Hachi. Parker is delighted and plays for a while, but eventually, he must leave for work, despite Hachi's protests. Watching the train disappear, Hachi looks on with a sense of sorrow, as if sensing something, but Parker fails to understand. Tragically, Parker collapses from a heart attack during a lecture and never stands up again. At 5:30 p.m., the train arrives on schedule, but Parker's familiar figure is absent. Hachi waits until the station closes, reluctant to leave. Late at night, Mike finds Hachi and brings him home. It's a night of tears and grief. Both the family and Hachi struggle to sleep, their world turned gray with loss. Hachi returns to the station, resuming his vigil in the flowerbed. The station's doors open and close, people come and go, but Parker never appears. Hachi waits until late at night, through the snowfall, until even the station conductor leaves. The falling snow reminds Hachi of the day he met Parker, who will never return. Cate decides to move away from this place of sorrow, taking Hachi to a new, distant home. The house is beautiful, and Hachi has his own space, but without Parker, his world feels desolate. One day, seizing an opportunity when Mike opens the door, Hachi runs away, unable to be caught. He runs along the railway by day and sleeps under trains at night. After a long journey, he returns to his old town and house, now occupied by new people. Realizing his original home is gone, Hachi leaves quickly for the station and resumes his place in the flowerbed. Like so many days before, Andy and Mike drive to the station and eventually persuade Hachi to come home. But Hachi is despondent and doesn't eat for days. Seemingly hearing a call, Hachi rushes to the door. Andy understands, he wants to return to the town, following the lingering scent of his beloved owner.
No, we love you, Hachi. We want you to stay here with us. But if you have to go, that's okay too.
Hachi gently licks her hand, as if thanking her for her understanding. He looks at Andy silently, bidding a final farewell before running off to his destined place. Amid the cold rain and snow at the train station, people notice Hachi's return. He waits quietly, enduring wind, rain, and extreme temperatures. Only when hungry does he leave his spot to get food from Parker's friend, the ticket seller, who has become the caretaker of the donations and food sent for Hachi. Ken, another friend of Parker, visits but doesn't persuade Hachi to leave, understanding the significance of the station to him. As seasons change, Hachi remains at the station for 10 years, his world forever anchored to the day Parker left. Only death seems capable of altering his unwavering determination to wait for his owner. On a winter afternoon, Cate returns to the town, her heart still aching. Remembering her days with her husband, she visits their old home, now changed, with the love of her life forever gone. Overcome with grief, she quickly leaves. On the anniversary of Parker's death, Cate and Ken visit his grave. On their way back, they see Hachi, now old and weakened, struggling to climb the steps to his usual spot. Cate, in disbelief, rushes towards Hachi, who, though too old to recognize her, still remembers to wait for Parker. With tears, Cate embraces Hachi, joining him in waiting for the 5:30 train, in memory of the most important person in their lives. On a snowy evening, sensing something, Hachi shakily leaves his shelter under a train and slowly walks along the tracks. He lies down in the flowerbed, watching the last passengers leave, and then gently closes his eyes, recalling his joyful moments with Parker. Although it has been long, the memories remain vivid. Hachi's soul had followed Parker since his departure. As if hearing the train and the opening door, Hachi imagines Parker calling his name. Rejuvenated, Hachi rushes into his owner's embrace, as if reproaching Parker for the long wait. On this winter night, Hachi finally reunites with Parker in heaven, never to be separated again. The film ends here, telling the story of Hachi, a remake based on a true story from Japan. For those who love pet movies, this touching film is highly recommended. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this movie share, please remember to subscribe, like, and share. Your support is very important to me. Thank you again for watching.